Some of the classrooms we see across the country look like they did 100 years ago. Single face-forward type table arrangements or single tablet armchairs facing forward.
The traditional classrooms that I've taught in are set up almost the same way. There's a front of the room, there's the technology that shoots the images up to the front of the room, there's a podium that almost adds to a barrier between myself and the student.
I know in a normal classroom, I dread having group projects because you don't know the people that you're with, you don't feel comfortable with them, and it's really hard to actually change into group.
What we hear from corporate America today is that they need employees that can innovate, that can solve problems in a group setting. So what corporate America is asking higher ed today is to create that skill, to help people learn that skill in class. But they can't do that in an environment that's only set up for lecture. We have to support them by giving them environments that they can work in groups and learn that process.
Our overarching goals were to allow active engagement and participation of the professor, for the professor to move around, active engagement of the students as they broke up into small collaborative groups, the ability for students to display their thinking, the ability for that thinking to be persistent over time, and to be recalled from one class session to the other.
You've got this point in time where you go from kind of a lecture mode or a discussion and you want to get them into engaging in small teams. In a traditional classroom, it's just chaos, trying to move stuff around and then having to move back. And you lose the whole flavor or the flow of that.
There's a lot of thought that went into the design of the Learn Lab, all based on user-centered research designed to accommodate multiple learning styles in one setting. From the way the chairs swivel, to the orientation of the tables, to the low-tech whiteboards that hang on the wall, to the high-tech products which allow you to take the notes from the classroom and that very day email them to the student.
The clusters of the furniture in allowing the small groups to take place and interact. The ability of having the same content in multiple places in the room, and something as little as a chair that swivels.
The information in the Learn Lab is projected on 3 separate screens. We've triangulated the projection of information to allow the students to view the information as well as have eye contact with other students in the class.
It really hit me how powerful it was to have an environment that let me go anywhere in the classroom, or any student to go anywhere in the classroom, where there wasn't this hierarchy of me feeling like I was in the front of the room, going back to the layers of who was in the back of the room.
In here, I felt like because we could move around and he was able to look at all of us and we were all able to see him even, that really helped in group discussion.
The really exciting thing about how the Learn Lab actually worked with real students, real faculty, was that the switch between lecture to group work or project work was just seamless. There was no downtime. There was no transition time of moving the tables and chairs and going through all of that. It was just, we're in a lecture mode, let's switch to group or project work, and the transition was that.
The students, at least about half of them, stopped taking notes because they knew that they were going to get this aggregate of information from that class on that night, complete with everybody's bad penmanship and spelling, but that was kind of part of the whole experience on that given evening. And when the ones that stopped taking notes did that, they started to engage and connect even more in the discussions that took place. It was pretty cool to see it all come together.
When the information is persistent, when it can be recalled, it helps to trigger the student's memory about what was learned, and it also helps them to make connections.